Yeah, man. It's the 23rd of October, 2023. And so let's talk about gang stalking for a few minutes. And I just want to tell you like a typical situation that I go through with broadcast. And I don't really care how crazy it sounds, and I don't care what people want to make fun of or whatever else. I just don't care, and I haven't cared about that for a long time. I'll just tell you the exact truth about what's happening in this group of gang stalkers that I deal with. There's 4 to 5 of them all the time. Usually it's always four, and then the fifth one maybe he has a job. He comes on sometimes, but basically what's going on is like when I'm sleeping, they attack me with broadcasts. They put their broadcasts all over like different places in my body. A lot of times I'll have broadcasts around this area or this area, somewhere in my stomach area, and I can always feel the heat difference. Like there'll be like a stripe of heat right across here, and I can feel it. And I do something you might think is retarded, okay? And I put my flashlight right there and try to disperse that broadcast, and it does work temporarily. They can put it right back if they want to. Also, it's been a long time since they started broadcasting in my mouth, and basically, if I go to sleep, then I'm gonna wake up 2 or 3 times with the driest mouth you've ever experienced. Doesn't matter how much water I drink or anything else. It just doesn't matter. I drink a ton of water and fluids in general, and it doesn't matter because they put their broadcast there, and their intention is to deteriorate your mouth over time, and ultimately they want your teeth to fall out, and it's going to be a very expensive thing that you might have to fix in the future by surgeries and implants and all kinds of things, because they deteriorate your gums. And the way that they do it is to put their broadcast in there and just let it get completely nasty dry. And they do it consistently. They do it day in and day out for years. They've been doing it to me since the first time I remember tasting that broadcast going in my mouth. I was like, get out of my mouth with that. Was 2017. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we're in the 7th year of putting their broadcast in my mouth. And I can't go to sleep and wake up without having a mouth that's so dry, 100% because of broadcast. I don't even drink alcohol or anything like that. I'm actually, for a long time, I've been trying to be very meticulous about my health, because I can tell that they have long-term goals to cause damage and ultimately to disable and possibly even to kill you. 100% mutilation, torture. So I get up, and the first thing I do is go wash my mouth out and brush my teeth, and then get some water and try to recover from that, and flashlighting my stomach area to try to get the broadcast off me. So it takes me a few minutes to try to recover and get back to normal. Meanwhile, they're starting it up. They're starting up their live streams. They're like, yay, because I actually, and I shouldn't, I turn my phones off when I go to sleep. And the reason I turn my phones off is because I don't want them to have that access, that medium to use as the hardware and services for their live stream EMF gang stalking. And they will. They'll put out basically a show about your life, whatever you're dreaming, and it'll be basically going through your phone, your services, and using your hardware while they do their broadcast. So, one of them will turn on like this scream thing, and then he'll talk through it, right? So, and when he's not talking, it's still going, but when he talks, it kind of blends to whatever he's saying. All right, and then another one's going, hey, 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 like he's trying to get my attention. And then third one, he'll start, hey, this, and he starts trying to say something that's like intimidating. And then the fourth one will comment on like what I'm thinking about how stupid the rest of them are. And it's like when they start doing that, when they all 4 start piling in with sound effects and voices and commentary, a lot of that, because they don't do that full time. They're always present. Okay, I can always interact with them if I choose to. They always make themselves known 100% of the time. They stay on mind control all the time from wherever they live. I believe that the guys that I'm dealing with are part of the Matheny group. They stay on broadcast all the time, and they're just always present. Okay, 24/7. They're always present. They can interact with you while they're asleep when they're on mind control. When they have this thing on their head and they're living as a broadcast in this broadcast reality, they can interact with you even when they're sleeping. So that you hear people say, "Oh no, it must be chatterbots. It has to be AI. It has to be a computer thing," because they do it 24/7. Nobody could stay awake 24/7. Well, they don't stay awake 24/7. They can do it while they're asleep. They can be on broadcast. That's when they get the most unreasonable. That's when they just get bizarre acting, because imagine like when you're dreaming, okay, when you're asleep and you're dreaming, right, and you can't really control yourself the same way you can when you're awake. There is some of them that can kind of maintain, but a lot of them, they start to act very bizarre and out of touch with reality when they're asleep, and you can tell the difference when they're on mind control and they are sleeping. When they're awake and they're on mind control, it's kind of the same. It causes them to act differently, okay, but the ultimate goal is they're trying to put out this show, this daily or multi-daily show about them, their broadcast, gang-stalking you. You're the target. And so they put out this show. And when they turn on all these different sound effects and everything's going on, you can tell they just started a live stream. Because that's why they all chiming in. They all put on the mind control. They all are chiming in, and they're all trying to compete for your attention, and they're all just doing this live stream together. So I have 4 to 5 guys doing their EMF broadcast live stream while they're on mind control, and each of them is doing some retarded sounding voice setting or trying to sound real sinister. They try to do all kinds of stupid things. One of them will have a scream going, and one of them will be saying what you're thinking, and one of them will be trying to sound sinister, and they just pile in together. And when they're doing that, you know that the live stream is on. Okay, so first thing I do, all right, and it was after I woke up, wash out my mouth, brush my teeth, get rid of the broadcast for a minute and try to recover. Then I turn on my phone, and then immediately they all start trying to chime in with this live stream, and you could tell that's what they're doing. So I immediately shut down all my applications, and then I go to this app called Stream, STREAM, Stream. Okay, and it's an HTTP detector or whatever. It's like, so if there's like HTTP requests going back and forth in the background, it captures all of those, and it'll give them all to you in the list. And so I shut down all the apps, and then I'll turn it on real quick, and that captures some of their traffic going back and forth, where they're saying like, request this, connect to this, get this, and then you get the responses. It gives you the links, it gives you the IP addresses, it gives you all of that stuff. So I'm sure in time I'll figure out more what to do with those things. And the other big thing is that, so I turn on the Stream app on my phone, my main phone, all right, and I got 2 HTTP requests captured, and then it stopped because they don't want me to capture that. But then within 1 minute of that happening, my other phone turned itself on. They turned it on, okay? So I had this other phone. They turn it on all the time. I don't turn it on unless I need it. I don't leave it on because they'll use it. So I only turn it on when I need it. I don't want to give them extra things to use, okay? I leave my main phone on because I got too much going on with people personally and work stuff and professional stuff and everything else. I can't just turn my devices off. I have to participate in the world that's going on around me, and I need my device to do that. People rely on me. People are trying to contact me. I have important things going on, so I have to leave my phone on. Unfortunately, that gives them a medium to work with. That gives them something to use for their live streams, okay? That's the main reason, if I know how they do it, is the main reason that I started 2 years ago going to school for computer science. And that's the main reason I will be going to school for this for years to come, because I want to be able to decipher everything that they're doing and put it out there public and say, these people are doing this and the government's doing nothing. If you want to stop your gang stalkers from doing the same thing, do this, okay? And that's what's going to be the future of this channel and my life. I'm going to be putting it out there for you guys, and I'm going to be learning enough to actually hold them accountable. I promise I am. And I don't believe that they'll be able to kill me fast enough. Okay, but turning on my phone remotely, that's a big problem. I'm just sitting there and sometimes I wonder, because it's like in my pocket and I'm reasonable. I say, oh, maybe I hit the button. Maybe somehow I hit the button. Maybe something like that. But this time, and plenty of other times before, but this time specifically, it's just sitting on the desk. It's sitting right here on the desk, and I haven't touched it. I haven't been near it or anything. And suddenly I look over and it's on. Okay, I checked the battery, it's 100%. So it just came on. It wasn't opened yet or anything. I charged it yesterday. Okay, but so they turned it on as soon as I turned on the Stream app on my main phone. So then they turned on my secondary phone. Okay, so first thing I did was turn on the Stream app. It didn't catch anything. So because they'll stop it. They'll stop doing HTTP requests, and they'll shut down their live stream and whatever connections they have. They'll shut it down because they know what I'm trying to gain here. And so I just turned the phone back off. I just turned it back off. But I wanted to note that lately, a lot of times, it's an Apple iPhone, and a lot of days they turn it on remotely so they can use it for another service, another hardware and another service to support their gang stalking, to support what they're doing with gang stalking. So they don't need phones and internet on my end to do gang stalking, okay? On my end, they need the phones and the internet, the hardware and the services to live stream or to put that content out there onto wherever they're putting neural monitoring stuff at, whether it's like secret sites or actual neural monitoring site. They need my hardware and my service to put it out there. Okay, they're sitting wherever they are, and they can control all the settings on their own computers, on their own devices. They're already linked in with neural monitoring, whether it's a program or whether it's something they're putting into the command line to activate a program, or whether it's something that they can just access on the internet as a particular website. One way or another, they are accessing neural monitoring, which is linked to a network of satellites that is a broadcast system where they can they're controlling their own neurological broadcast frequency, which is their profile, and they're controlling yours because you don't have it. So they do. Okay, so it's like a social media with settings to be able to broadcast and neurological settings. Okay, as they access their own to control that, make sure nobody's gang stalking them, and then they access yours because you don't have it. So the goal is to have neural monitoring. This group that I'm dealing with, they're nobody special. They're not government agents. They're not FBI, CIA. They're not working for the government. Nothing like that. Millions and millions of people have neural monitoring. And it's not something that you can't get out. I really imagine that they were people that were on the dark web trying to look at horrible things that you can't find on the normal internet. And this is maybe how they stumbled upon neural monitoring, and then they start passing it around amongst each other. I know people that have gotten their neural monitoring. I know people that are targeted. I know people that were targeted and got their neural monitoring. And I know people that already had it for who knows how long. I know a lot of people personally, okay? Why they want to let it go down like this, I don't know. I don't even care. Obviously, they're not my friends. So, live and you learn. But they won't stop me from getting my neural monitoring. They won't stop me from finding out who they are if I don't already know them, okay, and be able to gain the evidence to show that it is them and that what they are doing, okay, and there's got to be some accountability because they're doing torture with broadcast. They're using broadcast to mutilate people. They're using broadcast for attempted murder. Okay, it's like some people talk about the horrible things that they do, like they're about to fall over dead now, and I know they can do some horrible things, and they've literally had me call an ambulance before. Okay, but typically it's like little things. It's not little things, but it's like a little bit of horrible stuff, and they add that up over the course of 3,000-4,000 days. Okay, and if I pinch you, oh, why you pinch me? Oh, it don't hurt anymore. It's okay, right? But what if I come and pinch you every 5 minutes right there, okay, for 3,000 days? Within a few days, it starts to deteriorate and your skin's falling off and you're bleeding and everything else. So I'd have to stop. But then if it got a little better, then I'd come back and pinch some more and pinch some more and pinch some more. Eventually, you're going to have some bodily damage there, some permanent damage from million pinches. Okay, that's how gang stalkers operate. They want to do it very gradually, so it's not immediately relatable to broadcast torture. They want to do this a little bit every day. Let me put broadcast, light-powered broadcast in your mouth to just dry it out and cause your gums and teeth to deteriorate a little bit and a little bit over the course of 7 years. Okay, and then when all your teeth start falling out, we can act like it's some kind of natural phenomenon. But is it? No, it's gang stalking and it's broadcast torture. And they should be accountable for the war crimes and the torture that they are committing. We should treat them as enemy combatants, literally, because that's what they are. Okay, if you have a goal to mutilate and torture people, then in time, all right, then you should be treated as a murderer or an attempted murderer in a court and sentenced to death or life in prison and held accountable in any way possible. That's what should happen to you. But anyway, the stupid things with my phones, it's never stopped. It was so bad with Androids that I can't even use Androids. So because when I have Androids, I've tried it all. Okay, I've tried it all over the years. I've had $1,000 Android that it gets so bad like that I can't even use my own device. I can't even make it function good enough for me to be able to use it. And I know how to use a phone. I'm not some novice person that don't know how to use a phone. I could do other than like getting into the jailbreaks and the deep into the operating system stuff, like hacking it. Okay, when it comes to what you can do with a phone, I know how to do everything. Expert. I'm an expert user. Okay, I'm trying to be more than a user, but at this point, with any phone or computer, I'm an expert user at the very least. And so I know how to use this stuff. All right, I know very, very well how to use it and do every kind of thing you can imagine. But with Androids, it got so bad multiple times. First of all, they crashed several of them. Like, shut it down, blue screen, won't turn back on, just crashed it. Because I would be like, finding some of their files that they had on my phone or something. They'd be like, oh, nope, can't see that. They'd say that. They'd say, oh, no, you can't have that. And they'd shut my phone down. I try to turn it back on and never turn back on again. So just destroy your property. Destroy your property. And in Android, you can get into it a lot easier than you can get into Apple stuff, to iPhones. So, and I tend to try to figure out what's going on when they're doing things. But it got so bad, like, where they're either destroying my property or it's messing up so much that I can't even use it. So I only use iPhones now, but it doesn't stop them, not at all. They still, they're doing stupid things on my phones every day still. It's not nearly as bad, and I'm able to function and do what I want to do, but it's very difficult sometimes, and it's very annoying just to know that they're using my hardware and my services to operate their gang stalking activities against me. But remotely turning on my phone, iPhones don't just turn themselves on. Okay, they've turned this phone on 100 times. They turn it on when it's in my bag. They turn it on when it's in my pocket. They turn it on when it's sitting on the desk. If they want to use it to run their live streams, they want to use the hardware and the service because they need some hardware. They need some hardware. And even though they're doing broadcast things, okay, they can have a virtual device as a broadcast. It looks, part of their hologram, but it's not functional unless they can connect it to something. So their broadcast does have like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi type of connectivities. They can do whatever they want when they're broadcasting. They can do all kinds of bizarre things. But if they want to be on broadcast while they're zonked out on mind control and actually have some control over things that they're doing, like on the internet, they do it through a virtual device. And don't get it confused and think like virtual device. Oh yeah, like I have a virtual Linux machine on my MacBook, and I can boot it up as Linux Kali and I can use it that way. I can use Windows. I have a virtual Windows 11, I think, on my MacBook, and I can boot it up as Windows and I can use that. And it's like the whole computer is that. Okay, but that is what they're doing, but at the same time, there's another level to it. When they're on broadcast and they have their virtual, okay, they actually have a virtual device, but and it's like with them as a broadcast. It is a broadcast as well, okay, but systematically, if they link that in to your phone or wherever they have it hosted, they could have it hosted on the internet. They could have it hosted on your hardware. You might find your memory full. A lot of times, I knew about this kind of stuff years before I knew about what I knew. I didn't know what I knew. Okay, I knew that this person I was very close to that got their neural monitoring and started to become a gang stalker, and I didn't know what they were up to. And they had a virtual Android on their iPad, and they were actually showing me this kind of stuff, and I was unaware of the importance at the time. This was back in 2013. Okay, and then in 14 and 15, I started to realize why they do that. It's because that's how they operate that's where they hide their gang stalking stuff. That's how they access neural monitoring, all through a virtual device that they actually have hosted online or connected or hosted on another device. And so they need internet service, okay, but it's not on a physical device. So anyway, I know for sure that that's how they operate, but and I'm pretty sure that they have virtual device. I got a lot of memory or hard drive spaces on my devices. I actually limited that. I wanted to get what is the maximum, 512 or a terabyte or something, and I wanted to get that, but I was like, well, the more I get, the more I'm leaving for them to operate with, and so I limit myself because I want to limit them, and it's sad that I should have to do that. Because I don't like my phone to get full and have to clear it off and go through all of that drama. I mean, I transfer everything and keep all my files on externals, but I do have to go through that process, okay? And I don't like to have to go through that process, but I don't really keep anything online anymore. I don't keep things in clouds. I don't keep much on my devices. I keep it all offline on external hard drives because I want to limit my millions of gigabytes that are floating around out there and on my devices too, because it just gives them more to use. And they'll infiltrate everything you can imagine. They'll have EMF videos layered over your stuff. They'll have embedded files inside of other files. Like you might see like a picture. Like one thing I know they used to do is Androids come with this little video, when you first buy an Android, it like a Samsung, I think, it would come with this little video. I forget what it was. It was some kind of little cartoon or something, okay? And it wasn't like a huge file or nothing, but they would go into that and hide other files in it. And then it would show up in my file system as like 5 or 10 gigabytes. This one little cartoon file is like their little intro or something. And that's where they're basically using that file as a host for their virtual machine. So they just embed it in there and disguise it as another file. And it's typical for them to do stuff like that. And, but having the file war with them it ends up with they'll just brick your device. It'll be like brick the device. Just drop your file system out of it or something where it won't turn on ever again. And they do things like that to anything to keep from getting caught. Okay, but bottom line is, to summarize it, they're doing a lot with my phones. It's because they're hosting their live streams and of EMF gang stalking against me through my hardware and my services. They're also continuously attacking my body, my mouth, my eyes, my neck a lot yesterday, and my stomach and my mouth every time I sleep. Every time I wake up, I have stripes of super hot areas on my stomach where they have their broadcast. And I don't know if it's supposed to be making me weak or what it's supposed to do, but it hurts and it's an attack. And when I wake up, I have to spend a few minutes debroadcasting myself and kind of moving around just to feel normal. And then washing my mouth out multiple times overnight as I try to sleep. But they make it so dry. It's like I think my whole tongue and everything would just crumble if I didn't wake up and go rinse my mouth out and clean it all up. But they're doing that with intention. They're doing it for particular long-term goals. Okay, so when you have gang stalkers that are using a technology like this, people that are using a technology like this for gang stalking, but for long-term goals to mutilate and harm you, okay, that's a very serious crime. And it merits self-defense and life sentences and death penalties and civil obligations and all kinds of stuff that they're not prepared to face. So the faster we learn, the faster we can tie it all to them and then put them out there public and make a big mockery of the whole system. That's when we'll get what we want. Okay, so my advice: go to school. Go to school, study outside of school, study at school, study all day, every day when you're not too busy working and getting money. Get money and study. And do those things. Computer science, finance, study all of these things and work hard every day and just set goals. Set goals like they set goals. They set goals, okay, we're going to put broadcasts in your mouth every day for thousands of days until we get the results we want. Okay, so I'm going to study computer science and finance and get money and figure out how to destroy you every single day until I get what I want. Thanks for watching.